I know that this is probably the most unoriginal video that I could possibly ever make. I mean, I myself have literally watched 6 other YouTubers make this exact video. But because it's such a good video idea, I decided to throw my hat into the ring. So that is what I will be doing today. I, Tony Has Died, will be ranking the UFC weight classes from worst to best. Before we get into the video, let's put down some ground rules. These are the weight classes right now. This isn't like prime 2016 lightweight or like 2012 heavyweight or, 2014 light heavyweight, right? These are the weight classes right here, right now, as they stand. Okay? And I guess that's all I really got to say. Let's get straight into this, man. Starting with my first, prediction. I don't even fucking know. The worst weight class. The worst weight class, to nobody's surprise, is heavyweight. Because you look at the UFC heavyweight rankings, and there are 6 fighters that actually have skill in the entire weight class. Out of every single person in the weight class, you got Tom Aspinall. Hey, you ever been fingered by an MMA fighter before? You got Cyril Gane. You got Volkov. You got Pavlovich. You got Blades. You got Almeida. And this new guy, Ante Delija. And those are the only people in the entire weight class that even have a semblance of skill. But the reason I have to put this weight class at the bottom of my rankings completely, it's just because we know that nobody beats Tom Aspinall. There is not a single man in this division that poses any threat to Tom Aspinall, which is why we wanted to see the Tom Aspinall versus John Jones fight so badly. It's because that is the only fight that we thought Tom Aspinall could possibly struggle in, and it would be a fun fight to watch, right? But because we are no longer seeing Tom Aspinall versus John Jones, we now are getting Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane. That is right, Cyril Gane, coming off of a robbery, is getting a title shot against Tom Aspinall. Cyril Gane, who has already failed 2 title shots, who has not learned how to grapple at all, he is getting another title shot. Volkov is fighting Almeida. That's a good fight. Pavlovich just disposed of Waldo Cortez Acosta. And then you look at the rest of the fucking division. Not even the rest of the rankings, bro. But you just look at the whole division. And there's nobody that even has fucking abs, bro. Everyone is obese. Everyone is fat, bro. There's not a single athletic person in the whole weight class. They're all obese. Like Sergey Spivak, Derek Lewis, Marcin Tybura. How is Tai Tuivasa still even ranked? He hasn't fought in 5 years. Why is he in the rankings? Shamil Gaziev is a top 15 fighter in the world. And then don't even get me started on the fact that they cut Rosenstrike. Rosenstrike was a top 10 staple of the division for the longest time. And they just cut him for no reason, bro. Free Rosenstrike. And it seems like any single time that we have a prospect that gets a little bit of hype, they get fraud checked immediately. Like Taliesin Teixeira got fraud checked by Lewis. Fucking, what is the guy's name? Mick Parkin, he got fraud checked by Tybura or Spivak. I can't remember which one, bro. And that's like, these people are just so forgettable. Their fights are forgettable. I mean, I guess you could say, bro, they have the one-hit knockout power, and it always ends in a finish. Well, if it doesn't end in a finish, it's going to be the worst shit you ever watched with your eyes. It's going to be 2 idiots plodding around like fucking Muhammad Usman type shit, bro. So for that reason, I got to have heavyweight at the bottom of this list. The second worst weight class, in my opinion, is light heavyweight. Now, say what you will about when we were in the Pereira era, I would say that this was a top 3 weight class, maybe top 2, maybe even top 1. When Pereira was the champion and putting on fucking bangers every single time. But now that we have the miserable goblin that is Magomed Ankalaev at the top of this division, I can't help but roll my eyes every time I see the fucking division, bro. Because you look at who is in the fucking top of this division, all right? You got Ankalaev, okay. Impressive fighter. He's good, but he's not very entertaining. Pereira, he's like, this is probably Pereira's last fight, and it's going to be sad. 38 years old. Then you look Yuri. He's entertaining, bro, but he doesn't have any fucking striking defense whatsoever. Then you got Olberg. Like, do we really even think that Olberg beat Blachowicz? And Blachowicz is like a 42-year-old who is still in the top 5 of the division. Then we have Khalil Roundtree Jr., who is somehow in the top 5. If Khalil Roundtree Jr. is in the top 5 of your division, you have a fucking problem. And not even that. Jamal Hill is number 6. Jamal Hill is a former champion of this division. So I even think that in terms of skill, this division's top 5 is more shallow than heavyweight. Because at least when we look at heavyweight, these people, Gane, Volkov, Pavlovich, Blades, Almeida, they're all like super impressive for their weight class, right? But then you look at the top 5 of light heavyweight, Olberg, who did not even beat Blachowicz, Khalil Roundtree, who lost to fucking Dustin Jacoby, who robbed Dustin Jacoby, Blachowicz, who's fucking 40. And so I do think that the top 5 of heavyweight is probably a better lineup than the top 5 of light heavyweight, bro. Now, I will say that this weight class has put on a bunch of entertaining fights, and I'm going to tune in to watch the top people of this division fight every single time. But when you have people like Ming Yang Zhang in your top 15, who have like 4 fights in the UFC, bro, and he just got fraud checked by Johnny Walker, and he's still in the top 15 of the division. That's crazy. That's crazy, bro. So, light heavyweight, it's lacking in terms of entertainment value in the championship fights. It's lacking in terms of skill in the weight classes. And so for those reasons, I got to have it a little bit lower. But let's just pray that Pereira can get the belt back, bro. The next weight class, don't click off the video, bro. Don't click off the video. Because when we look at this division, it is stacked from top to bottom. Ilia Topuria, Arman Sarukian, Max Holloway, Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Dan Hooker, Patty, Gamrot. This division is filled with fucking killer after killer. But the reason I have it so low in the rankings is because they don't fucking fight each other. In the entire top 15 of lightweight, now that Fiziev versus Oliveira has been canceled, there is nobody booked in the entire division. There is nobody booked in the entire division. They're all ducking each other. Ilia's ducking Arman. Arman's not fighting. Holloway, fucking Holloway's good. He's going to fight anyone you put in front of him. Oliveira, he's ducking fucking Gamrot. Gamrot's ducking BSD. BSD's ducking Oliveira. Gaethje's ducking Arman. Gaethje's ducking Patty. Patty's ducking Gaethje and Arman. He just wants to go straight to Ilia. Hooker is injured. Gamrot, he's willing to fight anybody, but he's boring as fuck. Dariush is like 40 years old. And then you look past that, it's like Moicano, who had so much hype in the world and just blew it down the drain in that Islam fight. And then he got beat by fucking Dariush. Michael Chandler isn't going to... He's still... Conor McGregor! He's still calling out McGregor. Michael Chandler in the year of 2025 is still calling out McGregor. And just because these people are not fighting each other, there's no fucking movement in the division. We know Ilia's not going to fight until fucking 2026. He's probably going to be on that Paramount card if we're keeping it real. But this is like the duck division, bro. I'm going to make a graph tomorrow. If I get some free time. I got a lot of schoolwork I got to do. But if I get some free time, I'm going to make a fucking graph of everybody ducking each other in this division. Fiziev is in the top 10. Who is he? He just beat Bahamondes. He's lost to Gaethje twice. Who is he beating to be in the top 10? BSD. I guess he just beat Ruffy. He secured his placement in the top of the division. And another thing, now that Dustin Poirier is gone, it just seems like there's like something missing in this division, man. I don't know if it's just me because I'm a big Dustin Glazer that I'm thinking that, but ever since Dustin left, and honestly, since the old guard changed, bro, since Tony's, I fucking don't even like Tony, I'm saying this. Since Tony's gone, Dustin's gone, Alvarez is gone, it just feels like there's something something's not clicking right, bro, in this division. Everyone's ducking everyone. The right matchups aren't even being made. Like, Fiziev versus Oliveira, nobody asked for that. No one wanted Max versus Dustin 3, even though I went to that fight in person. Nobody wanted to see that. We all wanted Dustin Gaethje, or we wanted Holloway versus Oliveira, or we wanted, there are other matchups that we wanted, but they're not being made, bro. So, yeah, this division, everyone's ducking everyone. When they actually fight each other, it's entertaining, but they just won't fight each other. And so for that reason, I got to have this division as my third worst division. Now we're getting to the middle pack. This is the division that I have some interest, like, not that I don't have, obviously I have fucking interest in all the other divisions, right? But this is the division that I really start to get excited whenever people start talking about the movements going on in the division. I got middleweight. So at middleweight, we got Khamzat Chimaev, new champion. Yes, he kind of had a boring performance coming into it. But I'm excited to see Chimaev as champion because he's only had one boring fight, and it was the Dricus fight. But the only reason it was boring is because of how hard he dominated. So we're going to get to see Chimaev take on some new up-and-comers. Imavov is definitely going to be an interesting matchup. I can't wait to see that. Maybe they should book Strickland and Rob Whittaker against each other. That'd be cool. They're both former champions. That's good legacy for both guys. We were originally supposed to see DeRitter versus... What's the kid's name? Fluffy Hernandez. We were originally supposed to see that fight, but it got canceled. But I still have high hopes for this, bro, because Fluffy could beat Chimaev possibly. DeRitter could beat Chimaev possibly. Imavov could beat Chimaev possibly. I just think that Dricus has too high of a guard. He doesn't have good wrestling credentials. He has good jiu-jitsu, but he didn't get to show it off at all in the fight. Maybe Strickland has some takedown defense. I'm just kidding. But, even apart from the fucking championship fights that could possibly happen, we do have some interesting fights in the division. MVP, he's pretty boring, but I guess he's there. He's making his climbs. Jared Cannonier, he goes to war every single time. We got Roman Dolidze. We got Marvin Vettori. So there are some duds. There are some duds in the division. So that's what we got to call it middleweight. Get it? Mid. All right, I'll shut up. But I do think that this is an entertaining division. The title picture is interesting for sure. We have legends in this division like Whittaker, Adesanya. We got people from other we got people from other promotions like MVP and DeRitter. I think that this is a very interesting division rankings wise. And even people on the come up like RoboCop and Shara Bullet and people like that, they always put on entertaining fights as well. Joe Pyfer, like a Boost Magomedov, they put on good fights. And so I always get excited for middleweight, So that's why I got middleweight ranked at number, I think this is 4. Wait, hold up. Let me count real quick. No, this is 5. We got middleweight at 5, man. At number 4 on the list, I got featherweight. And the reason I enjoy the featherweight division so much is because it's like the whole division is basically just a test for Volkanovski, It's like now that Ilya left the division and Volk is champ again, it's like who is going to be the next test for Volkanovski? Will it be Movsar Evelev, who has wins over Diego Lopez, who has a win over Aljamain Sterling, who has a win over Dan Ige? Will it be Diego Lopez, who just defended his ranking against a dangerous Gene Silva in a super entertaining fight, who gave Volk a competitive fight, who gave Movsar a competitive fight? Will it be the rat, Yair Rodriguez, with his Dana White privilege, getting an instant title shot for no reason whatsoever? Lerone Murphy coming off of the KO of the year over Aaron Pico. Maybe Aljamain Sterling can string another one together, and that would be a great legacy fight for Volkanovski as well, And then you look at the people on the come up. Steve Garcia, David Onama, I'm pretty sure. No, that guy's a bantamweight. But we got some good names on the come up. Zalal, There are a couple of unks in the division like Ortega, like Pitbull, like Ige, Giga, Cater. Like those people, they could go off and I really wouldn't care what they did, right? But Arnold Allen, where is he? Where is Arnold Allen? He's missing in action, just like all of lightweight. But besides that, this whole division seems like it's a big test for Volkanovski. And I do like the stylistic matchups for Volk going forward, man. Like, I think he beats Movsar. I think he'd beat Murphy. I think he'd beat Sterling. I think he'd beat Lopez. And it's crazy because he's almost 36 years old. And so, but it's still entertaining because we know Volk's not in his prime anymore, right? And so we know that, the Volk we saw beat Lopez wasn't prime Volk. But he's still a really good version of Volk. And so that's what makes any Volk fight interesting, because he gets dropped. He could lose. And this division always puts on entertaining fights as well, man. Except for Aljamain Sterling. But this division always puts on entertaining fights, man. Except for Movsar Evloev. But besides those two, Diego always has a great fight. Yair, Volk, Allen, Silva, Steve Garcia, he's got some crazy knockouts, man. Giga, he always comes to bang. And even people on the come up. I'm super excited for this division. That's why I got it ranked number 4, right? But let me make that big. There we go. I don't know why it was so small. At number 3 on my list, I got Bantamweight. I think that Bantamweight, I know there's this narrative that's like nobody can beat Merab. And Merab is unstoppable, right? But I think that Umar can beat Merab, man. I really do. And that's what makes me have this, not just that, but that is one of the reasons I have this division higher than most people, right? I think that once Umar defeats Merab, and I do think it will happen, bro, because I'm not trying to make excuses for the brothers, right? But that was a 3-2 fight. We can all agree that Merab won rounds 3, 4, and 5. Umar won rounds 1 and 2. Round 3 was very close. Umar broke his hand. I'm not making that as an excuse. He still lost the fight fair and square. And he didn't just break his hand out of thin air. He broke it fighting Merab. But what I'm saying is, Umar, he's super young. He's getting into the prime of his career. He can beat Merab. Peter Yan, super entertaining fighter. He has made improvements to his game. He could possibly beat Merab. Now, I don't think O'Malley could beat Merab, but if Yan or Umar somehow get it done against Merab, we could see O'Malley back in the title picture after he picks up a W. Corey Sandhagen, a lot of people are underrating Corey Sandhagen going into this fight with Merab. I'm going to pick Merab, but I do still think it's going to be a 3-2 fight. I think it's going to be a crazy fight. I think Corey has a very underrated ground game. And then you look at the rest of the division, and it's super entertaining people, man. Song Yadong, he brings the fucking fire every single time. Davidson Figueiredo, and he's so young too. He's only like 28 years old, and he's already fought basically everybody in the division. Davidson Figueiredo, former champion, some of the best knockouts in the flyweight division. Moving up a weight class, see what he can do here. Chito Vera, he had crazy highlights in the past. Now, I do know he's been somewhat of a victim lately. We got this new guy, David Martinez, the former champion Henry Cejudo. Eamon Zahabi's on a crazy win streak. Mario Batista is on a crazy win streak. Vinicius Oliveira's on a crazy win streak. Marcus McGee, he lost to Peter Yan, but it was a close fight. I don't think we can just say that Marcus McGee, his career is completely over now that he lost to Yan, He could definitely put a couple wins together and get right back into the fucking title picture, man. And so, for those reasons, I got Bantamweight, man. I feel like the title picture is more competitive than people make it seem because, yes, Merab dominated O'Malley. He dominated Yan in the first fight. He's dominated, man. He dominated Aldo. He whooped up Cejudo. He beat Umar. He's the greatest bantamweight of all time, and he's invincible, right? But I do think that Umar could possibly beat him. I think Yan could possibly beat him. I think Sandhagen could possibly beat him. Like, we act like Sandhagen versus Merab is just a clear Merab W. And I agree, Merab is going to win. But I think it's closer to like a 65% chance for Merab, 35% chance for Sandhagen. I think Sandhagen has a real shot in this, man. Because he has takedown defense, unlike O'Malley. And he has slick strike, And so, yeah, man, Bantamweight is a super underrated division. I think a lot of people give it hate. Especially after Rob Font just lost. People are like, bro, how bad is this fucking division, man? It's not as bad as people say, bro. I think Bantamweight, Super interesting in the title picture. Super entertaining fights. They come to scrap every time. And so, yeah, I got Bantamweight at number 3 on my list. At number 2 on my list, I got Flyweight. I don't give a fuck, bro. This isn't me trying to be a fake hardcore fan. I legitimately love watching the Flyweight division. I think that if you watched Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van, and you said, that fight was boring. Yeah, that was a boring fight, bro. Yeah, that fight fucking sucked, bro. You're a fucking idiot, bro. These guys come to fucking put on scraps every single time, man. Pantoja scrapping it out with Urseg. He had a pretty violent fight with Kai Asakura. He had a crazy fight with Moreno, with Royval. And I think that Pantoja being a dominating champion makes people look at this division and kind of like, it's just another Pantoja. Nah, man, there's going to be a fall. There has to be the downfall of Diddy at some point, man. Pantoja has to lose at some point. He's lost in the past. He's getting older and older. Will Joshua Van be the one to put him away? That's an interesting matchup, and that's a flyweight fight that has crazy hype behind it because of Joshua Van's last fight. And Joshua Van, he is my favorite fighter in the UFC right now. Now that Dustin Poirier has hung up the gloves, I'm the Joshua Van Glaze train number 1, bro. I've been on this Glaze train. Hop on it now while you still can, bro, because he's gonna beat Pantoja, I swear to God. But probably shouldn't swear to God because he might lose, and I might pick against him. But you look at the rest of the division, man. Royval, he comes to have entertaining fights every single time. Moreno, former champion, he just put on a crazy fight. Who was it? Amir Albazi who he fought? No, it was Urseg. He beat the fuck out of Urseg. Tatsuro Taira, he only has 1 loss. It's to Royval. That loss has aged pretty well. It was a close fight as well, 3-2. Now, the rounds he lost them pretty solidly, but besides that, he gets submissions in all of his fights. Tatsuro Taira, he's one of my favorites, man. Manel Kopp, he comes to have entertaining fights all the time, man. Tim Elliott, you say what you will. Oh, bro, Tim Elliott, he's old as fuck. He just beat Kai Asakura, bro. And it was a super entertaining way he beat him, too, bro. Charles Johnson, he's on the come up. Tagir Olembekov. And these flyweights, they put the grappling exchanges in the flyweight division are so fun to watch. Now, there's not as many knockouts, but there's more submissions in this division because they're all more technical. And not just that, I like the fact that sometimes they can't knock each other out because it makes them go to war with each other because it's like, okay, this guy can't knock me out. I'm going to throw 400 punches, bro. I'm going to swing to the fence, and they'll hit each other and shit. And they won't knock each other out, and it's super entertaining. And so, for that reason, I got to have Flyweight at number 2 on my list. And in my opinion, the best division in the UFC right now is Welterweight. The Welterweight division is about to get so much more interesting, especially with the title fight that's booked right now between JDM and Islam. The fact that JDM and Islam are fighting each other, it is going to be one of the best fights of all time. I can feel it, bro. This is such a high-level matchup. This is on the same I don't care what you say, bro. This is on the same level as Volk versus Islam in terms of skill, bro. JDM has been undefeated for 9 years. He's only got 2 losses, and they're his first 2 fights ever, right? And since then, he's been on a 19-fight win streak. Islam Makhachev, he has 1 fight in the... if he beats JDM, he's going to beat Anderson Silva's UFC win record, or tie it, I think. He's going to tie it. He's on a 15-fight win streak right now. He only has 1 loss in the UFC. He's just dominated lightweight. He's moving up. So the title fight they have booked right now, super insane. But then you even look past that, and you look at who could possibly be fighting for the title in the future. My boy, Shavkat Rakhmonov, 19-0, 18 finishes, just beat Ian Gary. Give him a fucking shout, bro. He is right on the edge of the title shot. Probably going to end up fighting Sean Brady, who is coming off of a super highly impressive performance over Leon Edwards, where Leon Edwards, former champion, wasn't even able to do anything to Sean Brady. They are probably going to fight each other, if I had to guess, title elimination bout. That is a crazy fight that you can make in this division right now. And you could honestly match up any of the people in the division against each other, and it would be a crazy fight. Leon Edwards versus Ian Gary. Tell me that wouldn't be a fun fight. Ian Gary versus Buckley. Tell me that wouldn't be a fun fight. Buckley versus, I don't even know, Shavkat. Tell me that wouldn't be a fun fight. Now, one problem I do have with this division is there are a couple of unks in the division, but they're being cleared out, all right? They're being purged from the division. Like Gilbert Burns is still ranked. Colby Covington is still ranked. Wonder Boy should be ranked. He got robbed against Bonfim. But that's what I'm trying to say, man. It's like the people. Why is Shar Bullet in this? He's a middleweight. Why is he on this? Why is I literally just used Google and typed in like welterweight division and used the picture. Why is Shar Bullet there? I have no clue. But dude, you look at CP, where we will watch CP together, right? CP is he just flatlined Jeff Neal, and Jeff Neal, he put on a super entertaining fight with Shavkat, and dude, the division is stacked. There's so many people on win streaks. The title picture is insane. They go have entertaining fights every single time. You know, you got people like Kevin Holland who fight 7 times a year that are ranked. D-Rod, who's like 40 years old, has put on a 3-fight win streak. You got jiu-jitsu aces, you got wrestlers, you got strikers. You look at this division, it's filled with so many different styles, so many different fun matchups to be made. And even the people outside the rankings are super entertaining. There's so many people on the come up like Jake Matthews. Neil Magny's right outside the division as well. He's been around for such a long time. This division is stacked head to toe. The title picture for this division is awesome. This guy, whose name I can't remember, he's even starting to have entertaining fights, man. And Leon Edwards got destroyed in his last fight. And now he's fighting Carlos Prates, and he's probably going to lose again. What's there not to love about that? I'm just kidding. But this division is the best division in the UFC. You can't change my mind on that no matter what. But that will do it for the video. Those are my divisions ranked. I got welterweight at number 1. I got flyweight at 2. Bantamweight at 3. Featherweight at 4. Middleweight at 5. Lightweight at 6. Light heavyweight at 7. And heavyweight at 8. And that will do it for the video. If you like the video, like, subscribe, do all that YouTube shit. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.